Well, the budget battle continues in St. Paul. The Minnesota legislature's adjournment deadline is now just 5 days away.
And a significant amount of work still needs to be done. That's because leaders still haven't come to an agreement on global budget targets. There's been a tonal shift with Minnesota legislative leadership this week. What was originally optimism that the state would finalize a budget on time for its adjournment deadline has turned to realism, as leaders now seem to think a special session is all but inevitable. The legislature must have a budget by July 1st. If it doesn't, the state government will shut down. Any legislative action that happens after midnight on May 19th would need to happen under a special session.
Tonight, now we are digging deeper into special sessions and how they work, all while keeping in mind the delayed start to the 120-day regular session in the House amid a power dispute with DFLers instituting a 3-week boycott. The state constitution requires the standard lawmaking period to finish on the first Monday after the third Sunday in the month of May. So this year, that is May 19th. A special session can only be called by the governor. Minnesota's last special session was called in 2021. It was needed to enact a balanced state budget and to address Governor Walz's extension of the COVID-19 peacetime emergency. It lasted for 24 days. In 2020, there were 7 special sessions, totaling 26 days in all, to specifically deal with the COVID-19 pandemic. Then there were a string of special sessions needed for budget bills happening in 2019, 17, 15, 11, and 2010, all of them lasting just 1 day or 2 days. Special sessions can also be called to approve state disaster assistance, as was the case in 2013, 2012, and 2010 due to flooding and severe storms. As those numbers show, special sessions of the Minnesota legislature are not that uncommon. It's important to point out, though, each special session stands on its own. In other words, the legislature cannot carry over bills from a previous session and then act on them. New proposals must be introduced. Lawmakers have the authority to determine how long they will meet and the issues they will address. By the way, the longest special session in Minnesota history lasted nearly 4 months. That was in 1971. Pertaining now to additional costs, as in your tax dollars tied to special sessions, that is, they come in the form of what's called per diems for things like fuel, lodging, and meals. Capitol security is another additional cost here. Estimates put the daily special session price tag at around $50,000. State lawmakers are paid the same monthly wages throughout the calendar year.